This is morning in Sweden in April, early April, in the middle of April 2022. I wanted to recording because I want to tell you everything what happened step by step. Because I know that I have some real followers. Most people are in the United States, but this, how I can see it, is people in Ireland and Belgium that those that are follow me today and have followed me for a long time, and I know you want to hear all those knowledge steps I take. And this morning I have got a new knowledge. It's not a new knowledge, but an old knowledge that have been added new things on, or a way of me thinking, how I think and understand it. And it's about this coming back to year 2000, in August 2000, when it started everything. And I have said that before, that in that evening, it was in between 9 and 10 in the evening, and was going on in 2.5 hours. But in those 2.5 hours, there was everything knowledge that I didn't understood, but now I start to understand it, what was going on. And I didn't know God. I didn't know Jesus. I didn't know. Of course, I had heard about Jesus, but I didn't know anything, and I didn't care about the church or Jesus or anything. So I was very clean. So there is nothing that what happened that evening was not something that I recall from a church or what my parents have told me. I was total clean from to understand, to know about the Bible and churches and these things, religions. I didn't even care about religions. And that what come into my mind and get me know much better. It was this higher priest that was standing in my room that evening, and because I went to United States after in December, and then I started to go to church about 2001, and I come to Christian churches, African American churches, and some churches that was mixed also, and they always talk about Jesus. So that was what I was thinking. It was Jesus that was standing in my home in August 2000. But now I know it wasn't, because I have been up to heaven and I have seen Jesus walking around in the garden, and he was not focused on earth anymore. So he wasn't the one that was standing in my room. But as I have been taught of man, because I was in the church, I was thinking it was. But the highest priest that was standing in my home, I understand it. And then it come, then after him come God and talked to me. And I didn't see God. He had no body. It was a spirit God. So that also, I understand it today, that I was not called to go out and talk about God. I was not called. I was chosen because the higher priest come and he had seen me. And I don't know how long he had been with me and seen everything what's going on in my life. But as I think now, and it can change, because I am in the light to understand what's have going on, so it can change. But what I think he was already there from the start when I be born, or just before I was born, and hide me in my mother's womb, because she didn't know that she was expecting me before she was in her 5th month, and the doctor said they couldn't do abortion on her because it was too late. So I have to be born. So it maybe was this higher priest that hid me in my mother's womb. So he maybe have been my whole life with me and seen everything. And then I decided me in August 2000 to make a suicide. I had been successful in make a suicide, because it was like I was in a very sick mental situation, that there was only one way out from everything. It was to make a suicide, and that is mental sickness to have this. But before I decided me that day, that evening, I should go into the sea, and I was waiting for my daughter to go to sleep, and then I could do it. But before that, this higher priest came, and then everything changed my mind. The higher priest, I know it now when I'm talking. I got the knowledge now that the highest priest had been with me from the start, when I was born, or just before. And I was, it was someone that sent into my brain now the knowledge that he was with me before I come to earth, and when I was in my mother's womb. So he hid me yes, he remind me now, so now I am not going to forget it, uh, because the highest priest was talking to me about my childhood. So that means that he was with me the whole time, because he told me everything what happened, that my sister, adopted sister, older sister, she pushed me out in the street and a truck drive over me and I was killed. But God wake me up again. And so he confirmed now that he was with me from the start. And then after him did God come, and God was talking about my future. So God was not talking about my childhood. It was this higher priest that was talking about my childhood, and I be healed from what have happened in my childhood. And then when the highest priest was like, he was still there but not be in focus of me, because he was sending some spirits, and one of them was my earthly father that had passed away 1970, and when I was 17 years old he died of the heart broke, that he was drinking so much so the heart was growing, and on the dance floor he fell down dead, and he was there and asked me to forgive him for what he had done, and he said that he had not been a father and have not been with me and helped me with all these things that happen in my life. And uh, uh, and it was 5 more that asked me to forgive them. So it was already started there in August 2000 that I started my work under God by forgive these people that have been it's they have not been evil to me, real evil. My father was a little evil to me when he was home, but he was drinking. I never saw him sober, only when he was in the hospital. He had to be sober, and I didn't recognize my father. I didn't know him as a sober man. I only know him as a drunk man, a drunk father. So he was very different when he was sober. So I didn't recognize him. Yeah, I was shy for him because he was not him. So, but those other that come through that was asked for forgiveness, and it was a big lesson for me when one man come and was crying so much and asked me to forgive him, because he saw what happened of violence from my brother and my sister. They were on their way to kill me, but he come and make them stop and they ran away from him. And then when he took me up from the grass, I was laying in the grass bleeding. He took me up from the grass and took me to to the door to the house where we lived, and I went come to my mother and bleeding, and but she didn't know what have happened. And this man, he never told the police. He should have called the police and told the police what's going on, and he should have, and he maybe say something to my mother, and she didn't, she hid it. But he should have going outside from my family and call the police and tell what have happened. And he didn't really helped me. He helped me but didn't fulfill the help. He only did half of it. But something happened, but I think it was when my sister pushed me out in the street, that she was in the hospital and laying there, and the doctor, they don't know. They are very bad in psychology in Sweden, but worse in old time, because they were educated like Freud was saying. And Freud said that children under 3 years of age, they don't have any soul. They don't feel anything. He said that the children was like a doll that have nothing inside our body. And I was very much emotional and a soul. So I was very hurt of the doctors, what they were doing to me. And so that teach me a lesson about this man, when he helped me to be rid of, to not be killed of my brother and sister. But when you see something, he learned me this, that if you see something bad going on, whatever it is, like child abuse and criminal things out in the street, you don't need to go forward and go to those people that are fighting or do criminal things. You don't need to do that, but at least you need to do, even if you only scratch your foot in the ground and make a noise, so they stop to do what they are doing, these people. And then you need to put in a report. You can't stop calling the police only because you are thinking about your own safety. You don't, of course you should not call the police just in front of those people, but you can go away and then call the police, and not do what they do today, that they take a camera and make videos and show it on the social media. That video should go directly to the police. That is also, they said that it's coming now in my mind that the devil have make people see the police as our enemies when it's not that, but the media help to hold this up against the police. So they do mostly the reports about abuse from the police. So there, even when I lived in United States as homeless for 20 years ago, I heard people talking like the police was the bad, and now it's even more. So those, like it should be in the last days, that the bad will be good and the good will be bad, and that's what have happened when it's coming to all those in the society that help us, the police, ambulance, the fire workers, and all other nurses, doctors. They are seems like they are the bad when they are the good, but that's what it is in these last days. I am the last messenger from God, because we live in the last days, and the last day will soon come. It's very, very close now, because every sign is there, what should be before the last day will come, and it's here when the good will be bad, and that the children work against the parents. Not all, of course, because there is good people, but all this change in the mindset that from the devil, and the media help the devil very much, and in the media, not all, I say not all, but in the media there is the devil's children working to help the devil to make us think in his way he wants us to think and believe. So that's what I wanted to tell you today, that the new really stable knowledge I have got, it was that about the higher priest was with me my whole life. But when I should make a suicide, then he come and he had God with him. So, and I was called. I was not called, I was chosen. I was chosen from the beginning. I was not called and then I be chosen. I was chosen in August 2000. Thank you for listening, and I hope you want to know more about my progress in to know what is going on, that we in this invisible the spirit world that is good for us,